In episode 493, Ryan and Jose catch up on Hellraiser, cast appearance, and movie release news. Plus, we shine a spotlight on an amazing Rawhead Rex sculpture. This is the Clive Barker Podcast, where longtime fans, Ryan and Jose, interview guests, bring you the news, and take deep dives into Barker-related stuff. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate of his art. But Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. There's even a paver in Washington, D.C. representing Celebrate Imagination. We're thrilled that this worthy cause is sponsoring our podcast again this year, and we hope that you'll consider looking over his Pinterest page and commissioning a painting of your own. For commissions, Don requires no money down, and there will be no obligation on your part. You can also head over to the Etsy shop to buy one of his books, like A Chimney Sweep's Tale, Celebrate Imagination, or The Imaginaries. Follow the link in the show notes, or click on the side banner, and let's see what's new with Don Bertram today. Check out Don Bertram's paintings, Homage to Pearland and Homage to Pearland 2 on Facebook. And he's got a link to help the friend of the show, Hans Rueffert, who's having some medical issues. So please check that out as well. Let's welcome our other sponsor, Ed Martinez, and his YouTube channel. Lots of great special effects videos and Barker-related content. What's the latest from Ed? Ed's pulled another one of his archival videos of Yasushi Nirasawa at Mad Model Party in 1996. At that particular event, Ed introduced Nirasawa to Clive Barker, so you'll want to check that out. Hey, if you want to help us out, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BarkerCast589. Our subscribers will get exclusive access to content not available anywhere else, like our Collector's Corner video series, rare Barker videos, and early behind-the-scenes stuff. Our supporters get to help us choose episode topics and even join us on the podcast. Our supporters also get access to the exclusive channel in our Discord server. We'll be forever grateful if you consider helping us out and subscribing to our Patreon. We owe everything to this circle of magicians, so let's give a shout out to our Patreon supporters and see what's new on Patreon. Alright, well, welcome to episode 493. We're back. We took 1 week off so I could get my studio shed video put together, and I think we had a few other reasons I'm not remembering, but we took a week off. Yeah, it kind of eats up my whole weekend, and so it makes it hard for me to get anything else done. I'd been putting off that video, even though I had all my footage together, and I just couldn't find the time to stitch it all together until we took one episode off.
That seems to be a theme throughout the whole video, that people didn't have the time to do what they needed to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I know. It was like 8 months between when I got it here and could
February to October, right?
July to February.
July to February. That's it. Yeah. But there you are, sitting down on your wonderful little studio, and I saw the video. It was a pretty good video. It's like maybe less than 10 minutes, but you give us an excellent tour of your collection and of the way that you organized everything in the studio. You got 2 TVs in there?
So, 6, actually.
6. Well, and I was so impressed to see that you have that huge curved monitor on your desk.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been pretty nice. Except sometimes, for some games, it gives me motion sickness. Because you're seeing movement out of the corners of your eyes. Right.
Yeah. Is that 120 degrees or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it 4K?
It's more than that because of the width. But it's kind of equivalent of 4K.
Wow. That is a pretty impressive setup that you have there. I only have my 4K monitor. It's 27-inch.
Well, and I used to use just a 4K TV as a monitor, but the problem is that the camera would be way up above me looking down because it'd be mounted up on top of the TV. And then also,
that's right.
Also, the monitor was so tall that it would make the menus hard for me to see, like way up at the top of the screen in tiny print and stuff. I don't know. This works a little better for me. I still have mostly the same amount of screen real estate, but it's all like on my eye level.
And you expected to put a couch in there, but then when you started putting all the stuff in, you realized that, hey, the couch is not going to fit in here.
Yeah, because I had to put stuff along both walls, and I thought I was just going to have TVs along one wall. But yeah, I mean, I guess when I I sketched it out on graph paper, and I didn't, account for the fact that the walls come inward,
right,
which is stupid because I do that for a living. I should have known, At my job, we measure from the outside, not the inside dimensions.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also, your job probably helped when the city wasn't allowing you to get a third meter installed.
Yeah, they said, hey, we need a borough zoning permit, and I'm like, well, I happen to know all the people who do those, and so I got that done in like half an hour.
Yeah. But it felt a little unfair when you were describing it in the video that they were like, yeah, we're not going to give you that because you just want to make a rental unit. It's like, you have the shed. You have the proof. You have the plans. It's obviously not going to be a tiny home to rent out on Airbnb.
Well, so. and one thing I didn't say in the video too is I told him, like, hey, it's got no plumbing. And so there's nowhere anybody that wanted to go to the bathroom would have to come into our house. It doesn't make any sense. He goes, well, that's even worse, because then they're going to go to the bathroom in the street or in your yard, and we can't have that.
Okay, but there's nobody.
Why would I do? I said, why would I allow that? He said, well, maybe you wouldn't, but the next person you sold your house to would do that. I said, well, having an electric meter wouldn't stop them if they were going to do that.
Right. Yeah. That's such a someone who's got his mind made up about what this is about and is not even refusing to accept common sense. That's just weird.
Yeah. Very
but
strange.
I'm glad that you finally got all that stuff resolved.
Yeah. We just had to give up on having a third electric meter for this. I thought it would be nice to know how much electricity the studio was using, but now I can't. So I don't know. Whatever. It's fine, I guess.
Space heater, right?
Yeah. But that's just temporary for now. We're going to get it hooked up to natural gas, and it'll have its own meter. They didn't want me to do that either, but the gas company told me that there's no way they're going to allow me to hook up to the meter that we already have on our house. So, too bad.
Yeah, that's the problem of living in a place that's got snow for so many months out of the year.
It's also starting to warm up, I think, where we can dig a trench for the electric line and the Ethernet cable and stuff.
It was fascinating to see how they wrap the electric line that isn't buried yet. So is that like surrounded by some sort of like insulation foam or something, like some sort of shiny?
It's in a conduit, but then they put like an extra, that foil thing. I think it's just like to warn you to stay away from it.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering if they had to be insulated because of the cold or something.
Well, no, I don't think so. I asked about that too, especially with the Ethernet cable. I thought, is that going to be safe? And he said, yeah. We want to thank our Patreon members, since we were talking about a Patreon video. David Anderson, Eric Vanderholt, Daniel Elvin, Amanda Stewart, Bradley Gartz, our newest member, David Blair, our friend from some previous episodes we've just done.
That's great. David. Thank you, David. Aww.
Yeah, and then, of course, our sponsors, Don Bertram, Celebrate Imagination, and Ed Martinez's YouTube channel.
That's right.
For our Patreon subscribers, we have Hans Rueffert talking about the days of the Luna 7 Gallery and the first Clive Barker Prints. With Don Bertram, they sat down at his house and to have a chat, and it's a really nice video. So for our Patreon subscribers, you should check that out. Or if you want to do a one-time, you can pay it watch it that way too. Or if you wait a month, we'll put it out as a regular episode too. And then, of course, what we were just talking about, my BarkerCast Studio Alaska video that I made. It's about 9 minutes. Just giving you kind of the history of all the trials and tribulations of how this came together, and then a tour of it at the end.
It's a great tour. We get to see your Airbnb too, which looks really nice.
Oh, yeah. I used to have that whole thing for kind of like my studio that whole
moment. Yeah.
But this works a little better.
The Don Bertram and Hans Rueffert talk is very, very good. My kudos to Don Bertram and Hans. I know Hans is going through some health issues now, if you follow him. Or the thing that Don Bertram says at the beginning is that nobody really did a deep dive into the Luna 7 history of first Clive Barker Prints that ever came out. And I think it's a really good piece of interviewing that he did there. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of a neat idea of how they wanted to sort of commoditize and allow is it Giclée? How do you say that?
Giclée, or I think it's
they were able to make those affordable because they what did they say? There was like a 700% markup on those for art prints like that.
Yeah,
typically, and so they wanted to make those available for people. And I have 3 of those in my office at work.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You know, the Abarat fish hat ones. The black and white, yeah.
Oh, that's great. You got an office and everything. I still just have a cubicle so far, but I did have a little pinhead Funko Pop there.
Oh.
Just say, I decided to take it to work. I don't have a lot of Funko Pops. Maybe one day I'll take my Dr. Decker Nightbreed figurine. That's kind of cool. See if someone recognizes what it is. But there's people there at work that they have a lot of Funko Pops on their cubicles and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, look at that. That's a whole collection, man. Not crazy about the Funko Pops, but I think they're a cute thing to have on your desk at work.
I don't mind them if you can actually tell who they are. But if you look at somebody, if they have like a wall of those or like at a Barnes & Noble or something and there's a big wall of them, I can't tell who most of them are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of different characters out there made into Funko Pops, and some of them I've never heard of. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But like really distinctive ones like the Chatterer, or Pinhead. Those are pretty obvious, who that's supposed to be. But Funko Pops as a whole kind of all look the same.
That's right. Yeah. Because they're all made out of the same blanks, I guess, for the most part. You said you had like a busy week. I had a busy week too, starting this new job. It's been a month. Last night I went to see a big concert right after work. It was John Anderson and the Band Geeks. It was pretty amazing. But today, my voice, you can tell I'm a little tired, a little hungover, but we persevere. Yeah. I also got from Royal Mail, I got finally that I Am Monsters Blu-ray. And I got to say, this made me real happy to get this in the mail because, one, it was packaged so well. Came in this little cardboard box, then it had a little envelope of bubble wrap around it, then it came in a cellophane little baggie, and then once you get to that, there was a little personalized postcard from Nicholas Vince from his What Monsters Do book. He put a lovely dedication here. He said, "Hi, Jose. Many thanks for the order, and I hope you enjoy the film. Nico." What a great piece of Blu-ray. Mine is 202 out of 500.
Oh, I didn't look what mine is.
It came with a slip case as well. So this is a deluxe package, man. This is a deluxe product.
And mine's then 45 out of 500.
All right, super low number. Has the little booklet and all sorts of things on the inside. So good. Yeah. Is this a poster? Oh no, they're postcards. Oh, that's great. I'm actually just looking at the inside now while I was talking to you.
So you just said Jose. Are you just totally giving up on being called Jose now? Because every time you do that, you make me look like an idiot who doesn't know how to pronounce your name. No. Sorry. It's just that I kind of learn how to pronounce my name the wrong way because everybody else does it. But you're correct. Jose. Yeah, Jose. Okay. I swear to God, people think that like when people see that and say Josie, it's like,
yeah,
I swear to God, I know how to say your name.
Yeah. But, like I was saying, what a great piece of, Blu-ray, and I'm looking forward to watching this, and then we'll try to cover this in a future episode as well.
That's hopefully going to be coming up here soon. We just have to put it together. But this is a news episode, so we'll kind of go into it. From The Reef, Lord of Illusions is coming out in 4K by Shout Factory, which makes sense because their previous edition, the regular HD Blu-ray, has been out of print for a little while.
Oh, so, it has?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. So you can also buy this new release in regular HD Blu-ray as well. So this is like a kind of like a second printing, but there's a 4K version available.
Yeah.
That's my thinking on it. When I was reading through the special features, I don't know that there's anything new on it. I'm not 100% sure.
Hey, you know what's funny? I was looking at the Amazon page, and I mean, obviously it's amazing that they're putting it out on 4K because I love film preservation and I love it when they put those 4K scans out. But what's funny is I was looking at the page now and I was seeing the other formats that are for sale on Amazon.
Yeah.
They still have the VHS tape for $9.99. I know, from 1996 it says here. Wow.
Oh. Okay, so maybe it's not available in Blu-ray except for the used copies. And same with VHS and DVD and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, because they even have like the September 1998 VHS tape or the August 27, 1996 videotape. And when you pick that one, you get the one with that bluish screen, right, where like Swan or whoever it is is got his arms spread out, and then it says on the bottom, "Evil waits on the other side." Yeah, which was one of the early tags for the movie. But it's funny that VHS is still on Amazon.
Yeah, and it has the audio commentary from Clive Barker that he did for the Laserdisc.
Oh,
so you'll hear him talking about it on this laser edition, because it was the director's cut instead of the regular theatrical edition, which I think the theatrical edition pretty much disappeared when the movie came out for home release. You couldn't really, that was the agreement that he made, like, okay, you can make these cuts for the theater, but I get my version when you put it out on video. For the longest time, the VHS and Laserdisc were only the director's cut. And then it was only like much later on, I think not until the Blu-ray, that they would include both versions.
Yeah, which is a little weird because the theatrical version it's just a shortened director's cut. So
right. Yeah. Yeah. They just cut out some things because they thought it was, too scary or whatever.
Yeah. They cut a bunch of exposition, I think, with Swan talking to
Harry in the car,
right?
Yeah. And Butterfield, when he stabs the electrical panel and he's getting shocked, that goes on like a little bit longer,
Yeah. I still remember reading the article on the Fangoria magazine where they said they were talking about that scene and they were like, we wanted when he sticks the thing in the outlet to make his face, his burn like
bubble up and stuff.
Bubble up and smoke. And it was like the special effects people had to come up with a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I miss those Fangoria magazines that used to have like 3 different months coverage of a movie that was being shot and stuff like that. They would have one article about the pre-production, one article about the production, and then another one about
that was the first time I ever bought a Fangoria magazine, was that series of like articles and stuff about Lord of the Illusions. Yeah, that was
my first one too. The one that had like Nix. in the cover saying Clive's scariest movie yet. And then, that was my first Fangoria.
Because I like you. I was just a few years into my Barker fandom, probably 3 or 4 years into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good times. Was cool. Good times.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll buy this when it comes out. Yeah. I want to. Yeah, for sure.
Do we know what's in the description? Let me see. It's on pre-order at Amazon, like you said, and it says bonus content, 4K scan from the original camera negative, presented in Dolby Vision.
It's going to come out on June 10th, 2025.
Yeah. June 10th? Oh, not a lot of time to go. And then you got all the other stuff that came before, like Flesh is a Trap, Scoring, Lord of Illusions, interview with composer Simon Boswell, audio commentary with Clive Barker, drawing boards, A Gathering of Magic, vintage featurette with original behind-the-scenes footage, deleted scenes, photo gallery, a note from Clive Barker. Was this in the Blu-ray before?
I think
I'm not sure.
I'd have to go grab that and compare.
And, of course, the classic of home release extras, the theatrical trailer. Which,
right. Yeah. I wish they would put the trailer that was on the Laserdisc. We put that on our podcast channel. If you ever want to see that, the Laserdisc, it was just an alternate trailer that you don't see as much. But I copied it off the Laserdisc years ago because David Anderson had asked me to do that, and so we put it on our channel.
So there you have it. It's going to be the 4K Collector's Edition. Comes out in June. It's on pre-order now, and it's relatively cheap. It's $28.99 on the pre-order price, which they take out 22%. So a good opportunity to order that. Is this going to be numbered or anything? Do they say?
I don't think so. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, the last one wasn't numbered either. They just sold them for a while and then it went out of print.
Yep.
So it might be similar to that.
I think the interview with Simon Boswell, the composer, is a new extra for this release. It says here in the back, and the forescan, of course. But it's the only movie from Clive Barker that has a quote by Quentin Tarantino, right? Where he says, it's creepy to the extreme. No other filmmaker gets under the skin the way Clive Barker does. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino. That's great.
Yeah, I think that quote's been on like every release of the movie.
As it should. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah. And so there's going to be a Hellraiser screening with Simon Bamford in Ireland.
That's right. Yep. It's going to be presented by the Fright Club.
The 11th of June. Yeah, we've got a link in the show notes. It's Wednesday, the 11th of June, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. And he's going to have autographs and selfies. They want you to be 18 plus, so it's adults only.
I think the cinema is called Ballymena IMC.
There we go.
And it's hosted by the Fright Club. It says here, the Fright Club and I are Ireland's premier horror film fan club, screening a wide selection of classic and cult horror films, providing film reviews, in-depth editorials, exclusive interviews, and a fortnightly discussion panel as part of their YouTube horror show, Monday Night Frights. Now I gotta subscribe to their channel, I guess. The Fright Club and cool. I. Yeah. But these screenings are usually very good.
Any of our listeners or friends in Ireland, you should go check that out. You can meet Simon Bamford. He is the coolest, nicest person, and the first person we ever interviewed on our podcast. I was just listening to the raw file on that because we're making preparations for our 500th episode, and I said some really embarrassing stuff.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah. Well, when I was listening to it, I was doing this. But we'll reveal what that was because I cut it out of the episode, so it'll be never before heard by anyone except for us that were there in person. And I'll play it begrudgingly just because I think it's probably interesting, although it's really humiliating for me. But whatever.
Oh my gosh! What did you mistake? What Cenobite he played?
It's worse than that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know. I knew which Cenobite he played, but we'll I don't want to spoil it, but
you got it. You got it. I did find the Fright Club and I on YouTube. Go figure. It's the same name for the YouTube channel, the Fright Club and I. And it looks like they got a lot of videos there for different horror movies. So I'm going to subscribe to them.
Speaking of appearances, right? HorrorCon UK is going to have not only Simon Bamford, who we just mentioned previously, but other guests that you will all know: Doug Bradley, Ashley Lawrence, and Simon Bamford, Oliver Smith, Barbie Wilde, Nicholas Vince. God. It's a Cenobite reunion.
I know. And also Graham Humphreys, who did the cover painting for I Am Monsters, is going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
He does like private commissions. So he's also done the painting that ended up being the cover of
Phantasmagoria.
Right. Yes. You know the cover on that one? That was also Graham Humphreys.
And that, that Videotapes from Hell book we were just talking about.
That's right.
With Stephen Jones. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So he's also going to be there. And for other movie buffs, you're also going to have Jen and Sylvia Soska from Rabid and American Mary. You're going to have Ty West, who did Pearl and The House of the Devil and, the whole trilogy with X, Pearl, and what's the name of the last one? Shoot.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, but Ty West is also going to be there. He also worked in VHS. And Maxine was the last one that he did. Yeah, Maxine, that's right. Ralph Ineson, maybe I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but he was also in Nosferatu, The First Omen, and The Witch. So
Barbie Wilde said we should watch The First Omen. I still haven't gotten to that yet.
I know. I got it on my watch list. And also, if you're into Star Trek The Next Generation, you can get to see Alice Krige. She played the Borg Queen.
Yeah, and she was in Sleepwalkers. She co-starred with Clive Barker.
That's right. She was the mom. She was the werecat mom. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, John Cassier, who did Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
The unmistakable crypt keeper, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool people there, and Oliver Smith doesn't really do a lot of that stuff.
No,
Frank the Monster.
I've never seen him at a convention. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, and he had some health issues too recently, so it's great to see him back to meeting fans.
One more little bit of news: Nicholas Vince is going to be in a movie called Plague Pits.
Oh yeah,
it has a longer movie, Plague Pits: The Torture Dead.
Right. I didn't know about this until I saw that you had put this in the show notes, and I went to check it out. It looks pretty cool.
They have some stills, but I don't think they have a trailer yet. You were mentioning because I think you had looked for it. So I went to the movie website. It's still in production, and hopefully we'll have as soon as we get a trailer, we'll have that, and maybe we can talk to Nicholas Vince about this.
Sure.
If we get to talk to him about I Am Monsters.
There's a short description of the movie in IMDb and their website. It says, decayed medieval zombies use bizarre torture devices to take bloody revenge. Wow. The stills look pretty amazing. And again, the poster for this movie is painted by Graham Humphreys. And
I thought regular zombies were jerks. That's even worse.
I know. I'm on their website, too. They have a tagline that says, if you're lucky, they'll only eat you. Yep. So, they don't have a teaser trailer yet, but I found that movie, when it comes out, and it's releasing June 25th, apparently, it will be available to watch on Plex. There's already a page on Plex.
Is playing a character named Byron.
I'm looking forward to watching it on Plex. I already have it on my watch list on Plex.
All right.
So.
I don't have Plex.
Yeah, well, it's free, right?
Yeah, you don't have to have a Plex machine, right? You can just use the computer
website
channel or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Plex server.
Plague Pits.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I'll check it out. And on our site news, so I was looking at our outro links and stuff, and I was clicking on them all because I'm like, I bet some of these don't work anymore because they've gone out of business. So radio.com, when you click on it, it forwards to a site called Odyssey, Audacy. But our podcast is still there, so it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
change the name of the platform.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we'll have to do. And then on the side banner on the main page, I'll have to do that too. So we had a fan topic I thought would be good to bring up. Richard Roberts posted a link on Facebook. I don't think it's in one of our groups. I think it's in the Clive Barker group. Of a sculpt he's doing of Rawhead Rex based on the Les Edwards design.
Oh my God, it looks amazing. Look at that thing.
Yeah, and he's the one that did that official one that used to exist. You know, that had the full body and the stepping on
really?
In the graves, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you look in the comments, he shows pictures of that one too, and he said he was...
I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's so good. It looks just like the Les Edwards version from the Eclipse graphic novel. Oh, my God. He even has a second row of teeth, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? He's got the second row of teeth that you can see in the sculpt. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, the retractable teeth.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
I think people
good.
forget that it's supposed to be his teeth that are retractable, right? Because of the movie.
Yeah.
The movie is not really what he is supposed to look like, and that was Clive's main argument with the film.
I'm just laughing at some of the comments on the drawings that he made. Oh boy. Yep. That's a great version of Rawhead Rex. Of course, he gave it his personal touch. It looks like the mouth is much, much bigger. And boy, that bust is something. I mean, I agree that it looks like the head is too big for the rest of the body. But I guess that makes sense because he also has this enormously thick muscles on the neck that would hold up this head.
Yeah,
wow, that is amazing.
You know, I guess if he has a longer like stomach and pelvis and long arms and long legs, then it would probably make up for it. You know, since this is just a bust, it's not the entire, so it doesn't have any. It's just the head and his chest.
He replied to you, one of your comments, when you said amazing, and then he said thank you. And then you asked him, were you looking at the Eclipse comic for reference? And he said, yes, it's based on the artwork of Les Edwards from the Rawhead graphic novel. This is my third time sculpting Les's depiction of him. I did a full-scale sculpt of it 20 years ago. Les loved it. It got purchased and produced as a limited edition reproduction.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a beautiful model right there.
Yeah,
with
and we've seen that 20-year-old model or before,
sure
right?
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was limited edition. I don't own one. I mean, I would love to. I think it's great.
It is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've looked up pictures of this of the kit, the original kit, and you see that there's a lot of pictures about that kit on the internet. Some people have made their own painting of it. Some people had really good photos of every angle of it. I think I'm going to add this one to the show notes so people can see how cool the original kit was. Yeah, I'll put it over here. There we go.
And
that's amazing.
We're talking about this on the podcast right now.
I hope that when he finishes it, that it would be great to see some sort of limited edition version of this. That would be terrific. Yeah. I would definitely buy one.
That's really about it. That's we've kind of come to the end. But coming next, like we talked about, we're going to hopefully talk about I Am Monsters fairly soon. We're going to get back to Jericho Squad. I think I had mentioned to you, and I don't remember if this was live on the podcast or not, but we talked about my issues with the art. The artist kind of dropped out on me for this thing that we were working on. And I think I just want to go ahead with what we have because the new artist
heart of the Aboriginal.
Yeah, the new artist also bailed on me, and so now I'm just kind of like, guess I'll go ahead with what we have.
I saw the images that you have of them, and they're still pretty good. I think that they would do a good job representing the character that you imagine.
Yeah. And so there's that. The Book Club of Blood, our next one of those is going to be about Hell's Event. Yeah. And then, of course, episode 500, which we're trying to put together. That's been a little slow going. We're trying to put together various segments, kind of a retrospective of the podcast over the last 13 and a half years that we've been working on it.
That's right.
We're on season 14 right now.
Wow. That's crazy. It's been a great journey, and I wouldn't have done it with anybody else but you, Ryan.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been great. We'll get more nostalgic as we get into episode 500. But
7 episodes to go.
Yeah, I do want to say for our listeners there, if you go to our website, which is linked on the show notes, there's a link on the side banner. It says send voicemail. It's kind of like a vertical word that says, send voicemail. And if you do that, it'll record an audio feedback for us, and we'll put it in the episode. We're especially looking for those now to go over episode 500. Just to talk about, what are your memories of it? What do you like? What don't, any feedback that you have. You don't have to say only positive things. But, it's about us reaching 500 episodes. And when did you come in? At what point did you listen to our unfortunate, beginning episodes with the horrible sound quality and stuff? And we really kind of stumbled through it. We would really appreciate that if you leave that, and then we're going to do it in different, we're going to stitch together different recordings of different eras, and then we'll kind of decide where your feedback will go in those parts.
I like that. Eras. We definitely had eras in our
podcast.
Occupy Median was an era.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And before that,
and then we have our Imaginer era,
the planning and the the start. And then Occupy Midian kicked in, and that really took over the podcast from 2012 all the way into 2014 when the director's cut came out, and then even into 2017 with the Cabal cut Blu-ray.
Yeah,
yeah.
And when Fiddle Black was putting out that Cabal and annotated version of Cabal and stuff like that, and the different Blu-rays were coming out. We did a commentary track for the Cabal cut Blu-ray by Seraphin. That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
We have a lot to go back in and tap into.
Yeah,
and like you said at the beginning, maybe even find some embarrassing cut moments.
And then I think after that Cabal cut and era, or the Occupy Midian era, there's the area where we had the big news team, right? Where we had like 5 of us working on the podcast. You and I were the only ones that were consistently on every episode, but we had Rob Ridenauer, who joined us a lot, and he was also doing a lot of news episodes. And we had Marcus Williams, who would do stuff. Sometimes he focused on talking about Clive Barker art. Yeah, and David
Sharp.
David Sharp, was focused on films.
I think Marcus Williams has just put out a book of poetry by Encyclopocalypse too, so go check that out.
I saw, or I think it's a compilation, and he's got a poem or a story. There's 2 books, because he had posted that he put them in a little free library, and there were 2 of them that he autographed and put in a library, a little free library, one of those little mailbox things.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. We didn't know that. Marcus, you don't tell us anything. Marcus is not easy to talk to because he doesn't reply to stuff. And I think he would be the first to admit that. But we'd like to talk to you again, Marcus. If you're listening, get in touch. We want to talk to you, for our 500th episode, and kind of talk about that era as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's episode 493. And as usual, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I hope that we can talk about the Blu-ray 4K version of Lord of Illusion soon. Although, for the love of me, I don't know what else I can say about that movie. But it's always great when there's new additions.
Yeah.
Like things that I never thought I would be able to have.
Now if I could 2 go 4K back, TVs right next to each other. I could put the Blu-ray and the 4K version side by side and compare.
And the videotape.
Yeah. Well, and the
laser disc.
Yeah. That's true. I actually could play all 4 of those. I don't have the videotape. I never owned that.
Okay, gotcha.
But I could put 3 of them on at the same time.
Oh yeah!
What an awesome,
room. What an interesting, fantastic time we live in. Anyway,
yeah. I'd have to run around pausing them so I could flip over the Laserdisc.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, does it have to be flipped over?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Laserdiscs can only fit about 50 minutes on a side.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's episode 493. Thanks for joining us again. And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed or followed our podcast. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that's not affiliated with Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Reddit, Blue Sky, or our Discord server. Have you already bought our book? The BarkerCast Interviews Occupy Midian, available in Amazon hardcover, Kindle, and Apple Books. Join our Patreon and become a patron to get access to exclusive stuff, pick an episode topic, or maybe join in the discussion. You can also buy a t-shirt in our TeePublic store. Just go to teepublic.com/stores/BarkerCast. Leave a voicemail for us on the SpeakPipe link on our blog, and we might put it in the episode. Opening and ending music generously provided by Ray Norrish.
Thanks for listening.